Hey guys, today's video is going to be a tutorial on this look that I'm wearing today using the Tartelette 2 palette. I've done a video on this palette already, but it's more of like a nighttime, like more dramatic look, so I was requested a few times actually to do like a more daytime neutral look. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm also going to be showing you guys how you can use this palette on your face as well as your eyes. Like I'll show you how I use it to contour, highlight, and blush. So I'm not saying that this is like the perfect contour palette, but it is cool if you're in a hurry or you're just feeling creative and you don't want to reach for a bunch of different palettes and you just want to be able to use one. Anyways, without rambling much more, I'm just gonna get right into it. I hope you guys like it. Okay, so I am wearing moisturizer and I used my Nivea Post Shave Balm for a primer. Before I put down my foundation, I'm gonna be trying out this Eve Pearl Fair Dual Salmon Concealer. I just take a mixture of these two on my finger and then I like to put this over my spots before I go in with foundation. I think this is more meant for like under eye concealing, but I live life on the edge. I'm just gonna apply it just a tiny bit underneath my eyes. So for foundation, I got a sample of this, I think it's called Dior Skin Nude Glowing Foundation last night at Sephora. I'm looking for a foundation that's a little bit more on the luminous side because you guys know that I love like a matte finish, but recently I've been wanting to get more into like a healthy glowing foundation. So if you guys have any suggestions, let me know. Of course, every single time I do my foundation, I get it all over my hair. So I'm just going to apply a little bit more and blend that out and see how it looks. It's dewy, but it's not as glowy as I thought it would be. I'm just going to be using my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in NC15. Just going to dot this underneath my eye area. And I kind of like to tap this into my skin with my finger before I blend it out with a beauty blender, just because I feel like this helps absorb the concealer into my skin and get like a fuller coverage than if I were to just go straight in with a beauty blender. And I'm just going to take the sponge and just go ahead and blend it out really quickly. I'm actually going to skip the beauty blender for powder today, and I'm going to go in with my Real Techniques Duo Fiber Contour Brush. I like this for setting my under eye concealer with loose powder, and this brush is the perfect shape and size to get right underneath your eye area and like up near that inner corner. And I'm just going to pick up a little bit more of that powder on a bigger duo fiber brush. This is just by Shany Cosmetics. And I'm just going to lightly dust that over my cheek area. I'm going to do things kind of in a weird order today, so I'm going to move on to my eyebrows before I finish my face. And my everyday go-to product is the NYX Espresso Brow Mascara. These are just really, really nice if you are kind of lazy when it comes to brows and you don't want to spend too much time on them. This product is really great and it's really cheap too. So something that I've been really liking to wear on my eyebrows is this shade down here called Leader, and this is in the Tartelette 2 palette. I don't use a ton of it, I just kind of use it to change up the color a little bit and define that lower part of my brow, and then I just softly blend it up. Alright, so brows are done for the most part, I think. I'm going to move on to using this palette on my face. So for contouring, I'm actually going to take this guy right here, and this is Jet Setter. It's a really cool light tanny brown, so if you're fair like me, this is going to be a really good contour shade. And I'm just going to take this on this little side of this Eve Pearl Fan Highlighter dual-ended brush. So I'm just going to take a really tiny amount on this brush and I'm just going to start working it into that cheekbone area. I'm just using really small, light circular motions to blend this out and up towards my temple area. The eyeshadows are pretty pigmented, so you don't want to start with a bunch on your brush at once. Just start with a really, really light hand and a really light amount, and just build up the product if you need to. And then I'm going to switch over to a slightly bigger brush. This is the Royal & Langnickel Silk Pro Contour C120 brush. And I'm just going to use this to place this shade on my forehead area and around my temples, around my hairline. And then I'm also just going to use this to place a little bit underneath my jaw and blend out the contour that I placed on my cheeks. For a highlight, I'm going to use this shade down here. It's called Funny Girl. It's the lightest shimmery shade in the palette. I actually saw Samantha from Battle Lash use this in a Periscope while she was over visiting Tarte in New York, and she used this as a highlight and it looked really good. So I'm going to try that out. I thought it was going to be too dark for me when I saw it in the pan, but it actually looks pretty good on. I'm just going to run this on top of my cheekbones. You guys know the drill. I'm just going to kind of connect this up to my temple area, kind of in a C motion. Nothing too crazy. And then a little bit in the center of my nose and on the tip. A little bit on my Cupid's bow. And just a tiny bit right above both brows. I actually really like this as a highlight. It's not too strong, but it's not super subtle. It actually works pretty well with my skin tone, so that's pretty cool. So we have these three kind of pinky burgundy tones down here. I'm going to use this one for blush. It's the lightest one. These two would be a little bit too dark for me. This one is kind of like a natural pink blush color, so I'm just going to use that, and it's called Sweetheart, and this is going to be with my Smith 112 brush. I actually really like this for blush. It's not too dark. It's pretty light, so it looks pretty natural. I'm not a huge blush person, so I don't like it to be super noticeable. And that is it for the face, so I'm going to save the lips for last, but I'm going to move on to the eyes. Let's do it. So I'm just applying a tiny bit of MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot as a base. This is what I primarily use, if not concealer. So for a base all over the lid, I'm going to be taking this L'Oreal Infallible Bronzed Taupe eyeshadow. These are kind of like a creamy consistency, so it's a perfect base to put underneath an eyeshadow if you want it to be more bright and last longer. So I'm actually just going to apply this with my finger. I feel like these apply best with the finger over a brush. So I'm just going to apply this right on the lid and bring it all the way up to the crease. Just kind of tap it out, blend it out with my finger. Before I put a lid color over the top of that, I'm actually going to go into the crease because I want to diffuse any harsh line that L'Oreal Infallible eyeshadow might have created. So I'm going to take this kind of medium tan color called Smarty Pants, and I'm going to take this on the Smith 232 blending brush. And I'm just going to really softly blend this into the crease. I like to look down when I'm blending into the crease because it helps me to see where the eye socket area is and where I need to actually put the color. And I'm going to blend just until it becomes a really soft color. So now I'm going to finally start working on the lid. So I'm going to take a mix of Rocker and Funny Girl. I'm going to start out with Rocker, which is that kind of darker, cool toned bronze shimmery color. And I actually like applying these shimmery ones with my finger over a brush. I feel like they just adhere to the lid better that way. So I'm just going to take a little bit on my ring finger of Rocker, which is the darker one, and I'm just going to start placing this in the outer half of my lid. And then I'm going to take Funny Girl on my pinky, since it's a smaller area to work with. I'm just going to dab this in the inner third or so of my eye. You totally can use a brush, by the way, if you want to do that instead. Like I said, I just feel like this applies the colors more evenly, plus everybody has fingers, so it's super easy. And I'm just going to blend those two colors together by kind of tapping my pinky in a circle right where I separated the two. To darken up that crease a little bit, I'm going to take Jet Setter, which is just a little bit darker than that first crease shade that we put in there. I'm going to take this on the Smith 235, and I'm just going to pop this right into the crease. Then I'm just going to switch back over to that big blending brush, and I'm just going to really, really lightly and quickly blend over the top of that with no product on the brush, just whatever is left over. I'm going to move on to the lower lash line, and I'm going to take Smarty Pants, that first crease color, and I'm just going to take this on a kind of big flat brush by Suva Beauty, and I'm just going to run this underneath my lower lash line. Then I'm going to go in with those two lid colors again. I'm going to start with Rocker, the darker one, on the outer half or so of my lower lash line, and then Funny Girl on the inner half. For a highlight, I'm just going to take this light, almost white color called Charmer. This is the best inner corner highlight ever. I love it. I'm just going to place that with my pinky in the inner corner of my eye, and then I'm just going to highlight a little bit underneath my brow. I'm going to darken up that crease just a little bit on the outer half or so with Activist, and I'm going to take this on the Smith 235. And I'm just going to blend this really, really, really lightly into the outer half of my crease, and then also drag it down onto the lid a little bit. This is just going to help darken up the outer half or so of the eye. And then to darken that up a little bit more, I'm just going to take this on a pencil brush. This is going to make the color look a little bit darker. I'm just going to place this in the outer V area, so I'm just going to make a V shape and then blend that out again with that blending brush. And then to balance out that darkness, I'm just going to take a little bit of that same shade, and I'm going to take it on the pencil brush, just apply it to the outer third or so of my lower lash line. For eyeliner, I'm going to be using my Eve Pearl liquid liner. I'm not going to do a wing. I'm just going to really closely hug this to my upper lash line. I'm going to add a quick coat of the Jet Black Noir Intense Mascara by Eve Pearl, but I'm going to speed through this because mascara is boring. And then the lashes I'm going to be wearing today are the Pixie Luxe by House of Lashes, which are making their debut on my channel today. I'm in love with them. They're really full, but they're also a little bit on the natural side, so they're not super overwhelming. And then I'm going to line my tight line with the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in Perversion. I'm going to go in with my Pixie Black Cocoa Silky Endless Eye Pen, and I'm going to use this to line my waterline. For lips, I'm going to try something new. This is one of the NYX Liquid Suedes, and it's in the color Vintage. I haven't tried this on my face yet, but I've swatched it, and I don't have any perfect matches for a lip liner, but the closest one I could find is this Waterproof Slide-On Pencil by JCat Beauty, and it is in the color Red Wine. I don't know how I feel about this lipstick. I like the color. It's not as dark as it appears in the tube, and it's a little bit more red, and it's a super thin consistency. I think I prefer the nude ones more. I do have one of the lighter ones, and it's not as patchy as this one is, but I like the color. We'll just see how it works. So this doesn't dry down as matte as I would like it to, so I'm just going to use my little translucent powder trick and I'm just going to dab this over the top. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it for the look. I hope you enjoyed this video today. If you're on the fence about whether you should purchase this palette or not, I would say 100% go for it. So yeah, thanks for watching. That's about it. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!